What's this? A handsome family picnic woefully underpopulated by bees? A large influx of bees ought to put a stop to that.
What was the biggest surprise at the movies in 2018 for you? Annihilation turning out to be amazing? Black Panther and Infinity War living up to lofty expectations? An Aquaman movie being enjoyable? Revenge? Upgrade? The Night Comes for Us? Well, all of those movies surprised me, but BumbleBee surprised me more. Now, it's not the best movie of 2018, but it did surprise me the most. Travis Knight of the underseen Kubo and the Two Strings taking over as director, and especially the script by relative newcomer Christina Hodson, completely revitalized this series. I should mention, I was the right age during the first 3 Transformers movies to actually enjoy them at the time. They had pretty women and lots of large-scale action, and that's all I really wanted from a movie. By the time Transformers 4 came around, I was over it. Optimus Prime killing a human and enslaving the Dinobots.
You defend my family. Or die.
Plus conversations about rape laws are about as far as possible from anything I wanted to see in a Transformers movie.
I just called the cops on you because this is illegal. She's a minor.
Statute 2705-3.
What?
Even back when I liked them. And the 5th movie, wow, just wow, what a mess. So yeah, like everyone on the internet, I don't like the Transformers movies, but I only strongly dislike one of them. Still, it felt really good to get a Transformers movie that had a half-decent story and even managed to innovate in the action scenes. I'll get to that soon, but as usual, here's a plot synopsis. On the planet Cybertron, a war is raging between 2 factions of giant sentient robots, the heroic Autobots and the deceptive Decepticons. An Autobot, B-127, heads to Earth to hide but is pursued by a Decepticon who breaks the part of his body that lets him talk. He uses his alien robot ability to move his pieces around to disguise himself as a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle that is soon taken from an auto shop by Charlie Watson, a teenager who can't seem to enjoy life since her father died. They bond, they learn lessons, and she helps Bumblebee save the world from more Decepticons that want to bring their war to Earth. The movie is called Bumblebee, but Haley Steinfeld's Charlie Watson is the real main character. I just got through saying in my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review that Haley Steinfeld is good in everything, and that holds true here. Playing a character primarily distinguished by their lack of emoting can be tough, but Steinfeld does just enough facial acting that the audience can tell what she's thinking and feeling while also believing that those around her can't. The movie ends with an implication that she won't be involved in the franchise anymore, but they'd be wise to bring her back for a sequel. Every time there isn't wacky robot stuff going on, she makes it feel like an 80s teen movie. Definitely an intentional choice by the filmmakers, given that it's set in 87, has a soundtrack of recognizable songs from that time, and features 80s movie staples like Popular Bullies, practical jokes, hide the pet scenes, and a random John Landis-style scene where everything in sight gets destroyed for purposes of comedy. Aside from the modern-day CGI, this feels like a Transformers movie that could have actually been made in the 80s. Props to Travis Knight and anyone else responsible for that. John Cena is one of those people whose very presence is a joke, like Fabio, David Hasselhoff, George Takei, Gary Busey, Nick Cage, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Jeff Goldblum, but he's fine in this. He's well cast in a tough military guy role, and they let him get laughs by actually being funny instead of just by being John Cena. The only other human character I want to spotlight is Charlie's mom, played by Pamela Adlon. She should be in more stuff, she's one of the funniest actors out there. But the kids didn't come to see the humans, so let's talk about the robots. The Transformers themselves are all perfectly cast, even though a few of them only have 1 or 2 lines. Bumblebee is a young Transformer who needs to grow into his role as a hero, and he's played by Dylan O'Brien from The Maze Runner. John Bailey has a line as Soundwave, but instead of doing his Don LaFontaine impression that made him famous in Screen Junkie's Honest trailers, and in those Sreakle Crown Club commercials, he actually sounds like Soundwave. Certainly partially thanks to a heavy vocal synthesizer, but still appreciated. Peter Cullen is Optimus Prime, just like he's always been, and he might be the only person left with a voice cooler than John Bailey's. Gray Griffin is RC, and wow do I wish there was more RC in this movie. They got Gray Griffin, one of the best actresses alive. Use her more. Steve Blum, known for his roles in anime and for being the definitive voice of Wolverine, plays the Autobots' resident terrible scientist Wheeljack.
Wheeljack, why the did you build the Dinobots with small brains?
Other Decepticons include David Sobolov, better known as Gorilla Grodd, as Blitzwing, Justin Theroux as Sadistic Killer Dropkick, and Angela Bassett, another one of the best living actors, as Shatter, the Decepticon who actually handles all that deception and con stuff. Scaling down from the massive scenes of endless destruction in the first 5 live-action Transformers movies presented a challenge to this reboot, prequel, preboot, whatever. My point is that people have come to expect lots of crazy explosions in big cities from these movies. Bumblebee doesn't have that, so it has to do something else to make its action scenes interesting. One fairly obvious method they use is to have the Transformers turn back and forth and actually, transform during a lot of their fights, using whichever form best suits them at the given moment. A more clever choice is to have the Transformers use the giant robot equivalent of martial arts. In the old movies, the Transformers would mostly sock each other with haymakers, swing wildly with blades, or just blast each other most of the time. Here, they use their elbows and knees and do MMA-style grapples and takedowns. It's like if Jimmy Sparks was the biggest fan of the Raid movies, or at least, Headshot. Bumblebee hits the story beats you can find in any 80s movie, innovates the way this franchise handles action scenes, and trades in ruining its potential with crass humor and rape justification for enjoyable character dynamics and properly adapting Transformers designs and lore. I recommend this to Transformers fans, obviously, but also to anyone who likes the wave of 80s nostalgia. I don't have any 80s nostalgia since I didn't exist yet, and I haven't followed a Transformers cartoon since Energon, but I still like this movie and would definitely see a sequel. Please make Starscream next, by the way. Thanks for listening.